Hey, good morning, everyone. It is Wednesday, hump day.
Happy Wednesday for sure.
Yes. It's halfway through another hot Wednesday at that. We ended up around 96 degrees yesterday. It's going to be fairly similar today with the heat and the humidity still here. And we're going to make a few more showers and storms than we had yesterday. Had some rumbling and bumbling through the northern suburbs this morning. We're mostly clear downtown right now. The sun breaking through on the north side. And temperatures are on the rise, already into the 80s. And we're on our way to the low to mid 90s today. We'll eventually get up to about 94 degrees. And as we look ahead at the 7-day forecast, again, the humidity there today, and the 7-day forecast shows temperatures dissipating just a little bit, but the humidity continues to rise. That's why I say Friday seemed hot, humid with some storms as well. And we do have falling temperatures, a pretty nice weekend in store before the humidity and another warm-up returns into next week.
All right, good news. Thank you, John Hanson. Time now for today's top stories. Big milestone coronavirus cases, and it is not a good one. According to Johns Hopkins University, yesterday the U.S. hit nearly 58,000 cases nationwide. That is the biggest loop in the country since the start of the pandemic. States like Florida and Texas have seen a surge in new cases. The good news is Illinois continues in numbers. The state reported the lowest number of cases in more than 2 weeks and currently ranks 12th nationally in new cases.
Progress. That's what you want to see.
Yeah, it's certainly good news. I think that obviously everyone's guard should continue to be up, as we've seen in other states. These spikes happening, more and more people head inside. The states can reopen. Obviously, Illinois is in phase 4 and has been now for about 2 weeks. So we're going to start to see what the trend is like over the next few days. And all the numbers this week a little thrown off by the holiday weekend. So got to take these things on the 7-day trend, and still good in Illinois, good in Chicago. Let's keep it going.
Keep it up. Well, former teacher Mary Kay Letourneau, who shocked the world after being convicted of raping a 13-year-old student, has died. Her family released a statement saying she passed away Monday after a 6-month battle with stage 4 cancer. Letourneau and former student Billy Fulau married shortly after she served a 7-year sentence. The couple had 2 children together before separating in 2017 after 12 years of marriage. The two were close, with him caring for her for the last month of her life. She was 58 years old.
First Public School is set to move its CPD officer this fall. Community members, parents, and teachers at Northside College Preparatory High School unanimously approved the move Tuesday. The decision comes after debates on whether or not CPS should terminate its $33 million contract with law enforcement.
And Chicago police have announced the creation of a new specialized unit aimed at stopping violence in communities. The news comes after a violent and deadly holiday weekend. Some, however, think another urgent issue needs to be tackled to stop the violence. Joining us this morning to discuss the idea is community activist Jamal Green. Okay, I think we're having
Looks
a
like
little
we
bit
don't
of
have
problem,
Jamal right now.
but we'll try to get him in.
Sorry, did I do it? Did I do Jamal for a second? Jamal?
Great.
Hey, Jamal. First of all, thanks for joining us here today. It's been a busy, couple of months for you with everything that happened after the protest. What is your main call to action here in terms of issues and mental issues that the city needs to tackle, as it pertains to the city's?
We got to understand that what we have been doing for so many years is not working in regards to moving our resources into policing. Okay, right now we spend 1.8 billion on police a year. We also spend 153 million on police overtime this year. Police misconduct this year, and hundreds of millions more on police overtime. So over $2 billion a year go towards policing. We obviously see it's not working. Okay, we see we've always seen high numbers of violence. We see that we continue to have bad community police relations. We are not focusing on the problems that can create better communities. Okay, do they actually believe that Black people are humane, or can act humane. If they want to keep treating us like animals, they will keep putting police. But if they actually believe that Black people can be productive citizens, then they would invest in mental health. They would invest in economic progression. They would invest in social workers in schools, job opportunities for those who need them most, making sure folks can open up businesses and create generational wealth and create more jobs for their community. Because once we tackle the root causes of violence, then we won't need as many police officers as we do today. And I think that's something that they don't want.
And I think we need these, but just the focus. We need the focus to shift. And the strategy for this past weekend was to put 1,000 extra officers on the streets, and then were specific targets for specific intersections and corners and neighborhoods. And it just feels as though that's been done before. And something else does need to happen. When you speak about mental health in the community, what do you think should be the push, or what do you think should be the strategy for tackling that?
So several things. Number one is, I think we need a new public safety department that have, instead of police officers responding to certain crimes, or if we have somebody that has mental health, or that is inebriated, that is homeless, we dispatch social workers. In Eugene, Oregon, they have hired medics and mental health professionals to respond to 911 calls if it's not violent. All right. And I think we need to do the same thing, and we need a new public safety department to do that. So, because police officers are not trained to handle these situations, and a lot of times they escalate and end tragically. All right. Number two is, we need to reopen up all the mental health facilities in these communities. Rahm Emanuel shut all of them down in urban neighborhoods, and it doesn't cost that much to reopen them and make them wellness centers. Make sure we got an outreach team, make sure that we got, yoga and everything else outside of psychiatry and outside of behavioral programs for those in that community, and also deal with substance abuse. We need a place where people can go to get help.
I was going to ask you, Jamal, where do you mental health in the list of issues that are plaguing these neighborhoods, between food deserts, joblessness, homelessness? Where does mental health fall on that spectrum, and what should we approach first?
Yeah, well, the funny thing is, all of those things tie directly to mental health, right? And so that's why it has to be a priority. If you don't have a job, if you don't have food to eat, if you don't have a place to go, what ends up happening is it messes with your mental health. All right. And look at these guys out here that are shooting in crowds and shooting children. Like, they are obviously not in a great mental space to be doing these type of things. And if you're not safe in your own head, who knows what you'll do in your own community. So all of those issues tie directly to mental health. If you don't have these, if you're not tackling the root problems, people don't know what to do.
You mentioned root problems. Obviously, having more influx of money into the communities as well is really important. Access to fair mortgages and those sorts of things. You've been leading a pop-up protest of Chase Bank pretty much on and off for like the last 3 or 4 weeks. Have you gotten any response from Chase? Have you made any progress in that regard?
Yeah, so we got the CEO's attention, I think, the second day of protest. And Jamie Dimon dispatched all of his team on every level. We had a meeting, first meeting. We had 2 meetings so far, and they're actually progressing to be releasing some big news next week. But it's not on paper. It's not committed. They have, said these things and committed verbally, but until it's on paper, we got to continue to hold their feet to the fire. But this is important. They have not invested but 1.9% of the $7.5 billion in home loans since 2012. Only 1.9% only went to South and West Side communities. And so how do we have deposits in these institutions that were made off the backs of our ancestors, and we can't even go in there and get any type of loan from you guys? It's outright disgusting. So Chase has apologized, they've admitted it, and they are going to be unrolling some big news here in the next couple of weeks.
All right, well, we will be sure tune in for that. Jamal Green, thank you so much for joining us this morning. And if you'd like to follow Jamal or learn more about his work he's doing, you can find him on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Jamal Green, that's Jaymal with a Jamal on those handles. Thank you again.
Coming up at 11, we've got details on a new socially safe summer program at Soldier Field. That's exciting news.
Yes, and we'll be speaking with the kitten lady, Hannah Shaw, that is, and about Cats Pride and for Good campaign. The kitten lady, Hannah Shaw, discusses how you can put your best paw forward to help your local shelter, as well as kitten care and adoption tips. We can't forget about our kitties.
Absolutely not. We'll see you then.